Well, time for a little update. This will maybe be a little bit longer, not because there's so much done, but I'm going to give a little bit of backstory. Excuse me. Um, Still working on the issues with the throttle hang a little bit. Tried some different data. Seems to make it a little bit worse using stock data, and doesn't like the data that the GT500 came with. So the slightly modified data that I got from HP Tuners Forum seems to be the best, but still have some hang issues. So we'll see. I messaged VMP to see if they have this specific data they could give me, and I also posted in the HP Tuner Forums a log and a post and a log. So we'll see if anybody's got any suggestions in there. But so that's unfortunately about all this week. However, on the last post that I did, the last video, somebody had commented about why I didn't just leave the engine and everything the way that it was and just kind of be enjoying the car. And some people know this, but others, may not. I can't remember if I mentioned this, many, many years ago when I first started or whatnot. But so I thought I'd give a little bit of a quick, just kind of backstory and kind of idea of where this started. So I have a 2006. For those who don't know, I have a 2006 Foose Mustang, kind of the opposite of this. It's black, black with a gray stripe, and that whenever I would go to car shows with that, because of his TV show Overhauling, and that and he put big engines in all the cars, people would be like, "Oh, it's so cool! You got a Foose car, can I see under the hood?" And I would lift the hood, and it still had the 4.6 in it. And people would be like, "Oh, okay." They kind of disappointed that it just had the stock motor still in it. So I had figured that at some point in time, if I got the car paid off and had some money, this was always going to be the plan, was to buy another one that was, wrecked and fixed, or had a salvage title, or, had some kind of issues with it, so it wasn't all original, and then do something with the motor. And I had always thought about putting a GT500 motor in there. So fast forward, years went by, I was able to do that, and after many years of searching, I found this out in Wyoming. Went out to get it, and Missy and I did, and went out and got the car. Then brought it back, put it back, right basically into storage. I didn't drive it; it was a manual and everything. And then went on a hunt for several more years again to find the GT500. Found the GT500, and originally I was basically just going to put the GT500 motor in. I wanted the 1314 as the last years with the all aluminum block, and at that time the most powerful V8 that Ford had put in a car. And the original plan was just to grab the V8 or the GT500 motor, stick it in here. And then over the course of time, in those couple of years that I was searching for the GT500, I saw a lot of people starting to do really cool stuff with those 1314 GT500s and making some really serious horsepower with them. So I thought, oh, okay, well, I'll just do little things, put a big VMP blower on it, put a different blower, a couple little things here, there, and probably be good. Well, about the time that I ended up getting the car and getting everything, initially I had figured, the project would be about a year, 6 months to tear down, and 6 months to reassemble the car. Well, in disassembling it and starting the reassemble process, I found that between 7 and 14, they had changed a significant number of things. Things that you wouldn't think would change, like the window motor, the mirrors, all that kind of stuff, simple things that you wouldn't think would change. So when I was building it and moving everything over, I learned that a lot of things had changed more than what I realized. Taillights and just tons and tons of different things that I had kind of documented over the time here with this. Things that changed. So it ended up taking me significant longer than what I had planned on, and ended up having some mistakes with building the engine that cost me some time and all that kind of stuff. And so over the course of time, the situation evolved a little bit, and in that time, people were making even more advancements and making more power and all this kind of stuff with the GT500 motors. And about the time that I was going to start assembling it, one of the guys, which I think I mentioned, Mustang Lifestyle, that I follow, he bent a rod in his GT500 and did like an ultimate style build with it, and was putting down over 13, ended up putting down over 1,300 horse. And that was kind of as I was, getting things together too. And I thought, well, geez, that's pretty cool. So I kind of modeled it after that. And basically what this car ended up turning into was like what they call like a max effort type build, where like I said, starting from just having a nice engine under there that when people saw the car and you lifted the hood, they went, wow, that's a cool engine, to basically being a what if car, as I like to call it when people ask me about it, is a what if car. What if Foose had built a GT500? So from the outside, it's got all his stylings. From underneath, it's the GT500, but kind of like his show of overhauling, where he would put in big motors and lots of suspension. When it wasn't just like a stock thing he threw in and just went, the ultimate route and type stuff. So that's, I guess, what this ended up evolving into, was like a dream what if car. Not a race car, because it still has full interior. It has cruise control, AC, all that kind of stuff. But just like the ultimate driving type car, meant up to keep up with the Hellcats and the Demons, and back when I first started, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of why, looking back on it now, maybe that was a mistake. Maybe I should have just, put the motor in it. And the reason, one of the other questions that was brought up is, why'd you put the motor in it and then take it right back out again? When I bought the wrecked GT500, a lot of the wiring had been severed with it. He didn't even know where the key was for it. So I bought it not knowing if the engine was locked up. Would the engine even turn over? Would it even run? So I kind of bought it unknowing whether the engine or anything was even good. So what I did initially was I put everything in the car, and to even see if the car would even start. And to my amazement, one, I found the key, but to my amazement, the engine was okay. I had to replace a little bit of the wiring harness, but I was able to start it. She fired right off on the first key turn, and it ran. So once I knew that the engine ran and everything was okay, now I knew at this point, all right, now I'm going to invest the money and build the engine and build everything up, the engine, the transmission, all this kind of stuff, to be that car. But I didn't want to do that initially until I even knew if everything would even run. So that's kind of why that all happened. Now, like I said, looking back on it, may have been smarter just to kind of, do some of those original bolt-ons like I was talking about, a bigger supercharger and a couple of little bolt-ons. And, maybe I could have been driving it 4 years ago. And sorry, I'm saying and a lot. Maybe I could have been driving it 4 years ago and enjoying it all these years, and then just do the upgrades, a little bit at a time. Over one winter, pull the transmission out and have it sent and beefed up. Over that same winter, since it was gone, maybe have the larger, have the rear end done and stuff like that, and then drive it, and then the next year, over that winter, pull the engine out, and work on the engine and the return fuel system and all that kind of stuff. Maybe doing those over as winter projects over the course of the last 3 or so years, and then I could have been enjoying it every summer. But me, I guess, I don't know, I'm the type of person that I want it done and completed to the way that I wanted it before I was ever even driving it. I wanted it done, and basically done once and done right. It was the way I always told myself, you're going to do it once, you're going to do it right. You're not going to be pulling the engine, every year to do this or that, or, whatever. Just do it once and do it right the first time. So that's kind of a little bit of the backstory for those that may not know, or may not have seen some of the videos, or like I said, I may not have even elaborated in it. I know friends of mine know some of those stories and stuff, but I don't think it's ever been put down and documented on the video. So since I figured I would do that, since I had kind of not much to say, except like I said, I'm still working on the throttle surge, or the throttle hang, I should say, not surge, the throttle hang. So just kind of wanted to elaborate a little bit on that and give some of the backstory and the reasons kind of why things ended up taking so long, and why this is the build that it is. So Sorry for that long thing, but just kind of wanted to put down and document the history behind it. So thanks for watching and listen to my long story. Thank you. Bye.